Yo, what is up, everybody? Starting off hot this week. We're coming in real hot. Coming in with some technical difficulties already. Just starting the show. Unfortunately, we're switching it up on you. Because it's WrestleMania. We got to get into it. We're cutting the intro this week. Or I messed up. And one of the two. Never know. But we got a lot to talk into, so let's get into it. I'm your boy Ben Goose, and what up, Sage?
Let's go, Goose.
You sound good. Sound like you're not having any audio problems at all.
It should. I mean, I've been doing this for a minute.
You would think after doing this almost 3 years? Is it almost 3?
Almost 3, man.
For 2.5 years, we'd never have audio issues, but the grind is real. Happens to the best of us. Lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Well, first, all right. You want to talk Sasha Banks, or should we just talk about the weekend first?
Let's talk about the weekend first, man. It'll bleed over.
Okay. NXT Takeover, man. What was the worst match of the night?
Oh, worst match of the night would probably have been the main event. And when I say it was worst, I don't mean that it was bad. I just mean that like everything was damn near perfect. I was just more invested in the other matches than this match here.
I'm in the same boat. There was not a single bad match. Started off hot with the War Raiders, and yeah, it was just a good card, man. I like that it's a shorter card, sort of. I mean, still 2.5 hours or so, but yeah, it was just good. So, what was your favorite match of the night?
Oh man, I think it would have been a top. Oh no, I can't. You know what, man? I can't really tell you, man, because I will say this, man. Every card that was on there surprised me in some aspect of it. So I like, for instance, the match that I wasn't looking really forward to was the Dream match, and mainly because I don't like
Matt Riddle.
I can't. I'll preface this, but prior to me going into the match, I didn't like Matt Riddle. I don't like that he wrestles in flip-flops, or not flip-flops, but barefoot. And it's not for, a lot of people complain about, germs this or whatever, but for me, it's more of like his mobility is kind of shot. And I think that it kind of brings the match quality down. And we have yet to see him sell on an NXT ring. But after the match was over, I take back everything I said about Matt Riddle, and he's the real deal. Him and Dream put on a hell of a match, and I'm excited for his future.
Yeah, I think that was a hell of a match. Much better than I thought it would be, because I know Matt Riddle's coming in with a lot of hype. The feet thing, that's gonna go away. Rusev did that, turned an ankle, and quickly went to wearing boots. So the feet thing, and you just can't wrestle. I'd be shocked if in 3 years into his career he's not wearing shoes. You can't wrestle barefoot. 200 days a year and all that, unless you just straight up go barefoot and never wear shoes in general, and you have those crusty feet. Interesting. Yeah, great match, man. I didn't know what to expect from the guy, because I know he's coming in with a lot of hype, and yeah, he's lived up to it so far. I'd say I actually really liked the main event. A bit long, but I expected that, and I'm glad that I watched it. I think I watched it late Friday night into Saturday morning, and I didn't mind it, because you can see the timestamp, so all right, this match is going to be 45 minutes easily. But it was a 2 out of 3 falls. Man, Gargano can tell a story in the ring, and that's the thing with these NXT shows that I see. Maybe it's because the crowd, the environment. I see a lot more storytelling, but then again, I only see these takeovers, once every 2 months, once a quarter, so that you got a lot more impact. Whereas, you're seeing it, Raw and SmackDown and all that every week. But yeah, NXT was amazing. Great show. It's funny now when you watch NXT before Mania, you instantly think, and we talked about it last week, he lost. It's because he's getting called up Monday or Tuesday, or not Monday or Tuesday, or not next week. or maybe next week. I don't know with the superstar shakeup.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that in a bit. Eh, Hall of Fame. Did you get a chance to watch most of the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. You know what? I did see the whole thing. I had a quick question for you, man. Aside from the Simpsons predicting this whole Bret Hart getting attacked, kind of thing, I was wondering, did the attack of Bret Hart happen live?
Yes.
As
So
in, like they broadcasted it?
no. So what happened? I actually got some text on it as it was happening. I went and scooped it out.
Gotcha.
So the guy, and you can't see it on camera. The guy came in the ring. Brett looked at him. Guy tackles Brett. You can't see the tackle because the camera shot was the Hall of Fame shot. You know where it's like the podium
Yeah.
up. So podium to the top of Brett's head. You see Brett kind of fall off screen, and then it cuts to black for 5, 6, 7 seconds, and then after that they were just showing the crowd shots.
Oh, okay. Because while watching it, I could barely tell that anything was happening. Like if I didn't watch the internet, or I think you're the one who told me about it. I see the Bret Hart attack, and I was like, "Bruh, that's a bad pun, man. You're trying to say Bret Hart had a heart attack in the ring?" I was like, "Come on,
Ooh,
man."
ooh, yes. Social media took care of us on this one on providing the live footage.
Yeah. What's up, Silk?
Yo, what up, Silk? Silk in the chat. Um, but what was interesting, and I got to give props. There was two people who got in that ring because Natalia was in the mix too. There was two people who got in that ring: Ronda Rousey and Travis Brown. That showed me right there. Yo, like the breaking kayfabe stuff was just it's part of the act. She jumped in the ring and her husband jumped in that ring. And we both know if you go in the ring to attack a wrestler, stories are off. Wrestlers got each other's backs and they see red. They see, oh, I'm getting free licks on this dude. I'm gonna hit this guy.
Nah, Titus didn't get no free licks, man. But I get what you're saying, man. You got to put yourselves in their shoes, man. You know, we
Yeah, you don't
don't
know if
know
they
if
have knives and
yeah, exactly, man. So they
did,
gotta stress them guns, man.
did you see the Buddy Murphy punch?
That wasn't Buddy Murphy. That was actually Dash Wilder with the
Was it
punch.
Dash?
Yeah, it was
What did I
Dash,
say?
bro.
Did I say Buddy Murphy?
You did say Buddy Murphy, bro.
Oh, I was way off. My bad, Buddy Murphy.
Just like your predictions were way off.
Dude, they were bad. I was watching NXT and even yeah. Um yeah, that I mean, I'll give him that. It was a sucker punch, but yeah, the dude also sucker tackled somebody, a 61-year-old man. So, yeah, it just goes to
Yeah,
show, man, you don't mess with wrestlers.
I got no love for the guy who did that, man. You can't do that. Like if you're gonna, I mean, I'm not condoning any of these types of actions, but man, if you're gonna act a clown and try to get on TV, like don't try to assault somebody, man. It's not cool. Now there's speculation that we're not even going to be able to, which I don't think WWE will ever do it, but they're toying around with the idea of not letting fans in. I think it's going to be a big mistake, and it'll impact their money. They get a lot of money from the Hall of Fame. It kind of helps supplement WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's
Um,
free money. They can't
yeah,
do that. When you had 5, 10, 15,000 people pay just to see no wrestlers or no wrestling, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Then yeah, it's just lost money. It's just one bonehead. Increase security, and
yeah. No, I agree. Just there, I don't even know how the guy even got on the floor. Like, if you've ever been to one of those, like the one of the big four pay-per-views, it's not easy to get on the floor, man. So someone got fired for sure. I'll tell you that, man. Someone got fired for sure.
oh yeah, rest of the Hall of Fame was good. This year, they
Yeah.
actually a lot of people kept stuff short. Um,
So
you,
that's what I was going to ask you, Goose, because I know you was really bearish on the idea of this Hall of Fame being the worst Hall of Fame class to date. But I I actually thought it was a pretty good Hall of Fame overall, man. Some tear jerkers here with Tori Wilson. I loved her positive message there. The one thing I didn't, and I want to make sure that let me see if you concur with that idea that it was better than you expected it to be. But I also noticed that they gave no like literally little to no love to Sherry, and I don't think it was anything Booker T or Stevie Jackson related because I know that they were big proponents of making sure that Sherry was inducted and it just didn't go that way. But am I missing something? Like, is Sherry blacklisted from the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. And by the way, you said Booker T and Stevie Jackson.
Stevie
Stevie
Ray,
Jackson,
man. I'm sorry, man. I'm
former
all over the
Spur. It's okay.
place.
Playoffs are starting. Booker T and Stevie Ray. I don't know, because is Miss Sherry in the Hall of Fame? She's not, right?
She's not in the Hall of Fame, man. But she was like if
She was
you
huge.
yeah, I mean she was. I mean she was like literally instrumental. And and this is probably the one critique that I have. So they made it a point all night to mention Hulk Hogan being instrumental to people's lives. Like I could count at least 3 times where it happened. Tori Wilson, it happened. Stevie Ray said it, and someone else had said it as well. And I'm not saying that it may not be true, but I know Sherry did a lot for Stevie Ray and Booker T, especially when they were just not really comfortable on the mic. And just for them just to say like Stevie or Booker T seemed like he snuck it in. I feel like something happened, and I mean, come on, man. They just I don't know, man. And shout out
I
to
just
Luna Vachon, man. She's in the Hall of Fame too. They snuck that in.
I just checked. So Sensational Sherry went into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2006.
Oh, she
So she
did?
was probably one of the first. So
Okay.
now it becomes a why
Right.
didn't they reference
Yeah.
Sensational Sherry?
Good call, man. Like I didn't know she
I
was
had to look it
inducted
up.
in 2006.
Yeah, me neither. I just looked it up. Um, I mean, it was 13 years ago. Uh, so, but so I didn't see Harlem Heats or I think no. The Harlem Heat was the only Hall of Fame speech I didn't see. Did they mention any other managers or people who, or did they just keep it about themselves? Maybe they just wanted to keep it quick and about themselves.
No, I mean it wasn't quick by any stretch of the imagination, but it didn't drag either. It was a really good story, and you could really tell like the brotherhood between them. They talked about, them never basically being turned down and getting fired from job to job and just never quitting, just keeping going and stuff like that. And you could really tell that Stevie Ray was like the driving force behind their entire careers, both of them. Um, and Booker was just basically along for the ride, which is pretty crazy considering how big Booker T was. But yeah, man, I honestly, if you haven't seen it, man, I'd recommend going to see him. It's a heartfelt story and one that I think was pretty well put together.
I think I'm gonna treat the Hall of Fame from now on like I treat listening to like podcast. I had this thought this weekend because the Hall of Fame's 3-4 hours or so, but you don't technically need to see anything. It's just kind of I might just go with like an audio version next year or something like that and check it out. Let me ask you about something about Sunday.
Okay.
Did you start watching WrestleMania at the give or take at the time of the pre-show?
I watched it from the pre-show all the way to the end.
We'll get into what we thought about Mania. But is the 4 till what time was it? 11:30?
It was 7.5 hours, man.
Jesus. Is that too long?
Uh, um, for me, I think the cutoff time would have been 6.5 hours for Mania. Seven
And
and a
that's only
half is
because the
pushing it.
would you say it's 6.5 only because the pre-show is there's only, 4 matches in 2 hours type thing? Like there's a lot of in
Yeah,
between
because
stuff?
they had basically 2 hours of pre-show. Um, yeah, they had 2 hours of pre-show on there, and those pre-show matches were pretty good. even the battle royals were actually pretty decent. Uh, they were decent the way that they were done. They weren't decent in the aspect of that we didn't get anybody really new in there. Um, my dark horse pick was Lacey Evans, and I was dumbfounded the fact that she wasn't in it, but I can understand why, with the events that happened this week. And then EC3
Right.
was basically like in and out of the Royal Rumble too, so that was kind of weird. But I think that the start time was perfect. I think that if it would have just ended an hour early, I think that would have been set. It damn near ended at midnight for me Central Time. And that's, to me, that's too long.
It is. It is. So imagine if you were in New York, being out there till 12:30.
Yeah, man. That's and firecrackers going off at 11:30 at night, or midnight, 12:30 at night. Come on, man. That's insane.
Yeah.
And it was I mean, it's Jersey, but I mean, even so, like there's houses like nearby where they were at, so I can imagine how that felt for them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I gotta say WrestleMania definitely didn't exceed my expectations, but it's the thing that I have with it being too long, it's not that the people out there weren't putting on good matches and all that, but I started to notice, man, you get fan and viewer fatigue.
Yeah.
Like fans sitting anywhere for 7 hours, it's extremely difficult to keep them consistently entertained. I was joking with one of my friends saying, I think that 10 o'clock, right before the last hour and a half, I said, dude, they need to go out and give every single fan 2 shots of tequila or whiskey. Because that'll wake them up in a heart. You give them 2 shots of tequila and some nachos or a hot dog. You got a choice. You get 2 shots of your choice and either a hot dog or some wings. So people get that second win. But 7.5 hours to me was just way too long. So let me ask you this: what could they have done to shorten it?
So I thought the pacings of the matches were great. Um, I, j- I I don't know, man. Like, to me, honestly, I'm looking back on it, and I couldn't really name one thing to cut, to be honest with you. I mean, if the goal is to have everyone on the card itself and everyone invested, I I think that they succeeded. I feel like it's just too long. Yeah, I think that it was just too long. It's a weird conundrum to be in. You have two goals in mind, um, but I don't know, Goose. I mean, I thought the pacing was well. I don't know what I would have done in that same circumstance to make it shorter, because it was decent, man. It was decent. They gave us the highs at the very beginning, and then they gave us kind of like kind of a cool down period, a bathroom break, and then the rest of the card. And I mean,
When you
I
say
think that's
cool
how you
down and
want.
bathroom break, when you say cool down and bathroom break, is that like the Elias segments and stuff like that?
Yeah, so the Elias segment and I hate to say this, but the bathroom break was Samoa Joe and uh
Rey
Rey
Mysterio.
Mysterio. That kind of, those two combined kind of gave us that quick break. Hey, I need to go to the restroom. I need to cool off, kind of thing. And then they gave us the main event.
So when you say bathroom break, do you mean bad match?
No, no. I mean, it all, like, some of those matches where you just know what the outcome is going to be, or it's something that's not really going to be very impactful to you
I see.
itself,
So if you had
right?
to choose one match to go, it would definitely be this match, regardless of who
Yeah,
the competitors are.
yeah. And I even think they had like the longest 7 second. Was that part of the live segment, or was it? I can't remember, but they also had
No,
that
no.
somewhere in between as well. The longest 7 second dance break kind of thing, where I think it was like
Yeah.
2 minutes or something. I mean, those little things, like, they inserted those purposely so that you have time to go and, you know, walk around, get the blood flowing back, kind of get your energy level up, cop some beers. I don't
Yeah.
know. do your thing. So, like, that's
What
what
if
I mean. The pacing was really good. It was just, unfortunately, it's just maybe an hour and a half too long.
what if they get rid of some of the what if they get rid of the promos but before the match or shorten those? Because those promos before the match are like 5-10 minutes long. Oh, but they probably need those promos when you have to set up a band and new pyro and new theatrics. Never mind. Yeah, maybe they could just. So I like that WrestleMania each year is having a random squash match here and there, which is, or a random 2-minute match or less. And they're doing that, fairly consistently. We remember Daniel Bryan and Sheamus from a few years ago and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Undertaker, John Cena from last year. Just these kind of quick in and out matches. Yeah, it's just too long. What did you think of WrestleMania? Like, what was your favorite match of the night?
I I mean, was there a better match than DB versus Kofi Kingston?
No, not at all.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not to say that the rest of the cards were bad. I loved the Miz and I don't
Shane.
know why I can't get my words out today. Shane. I absolutely loved that match, man. It was a lot of fun, and they did a great job storytelling. And I will. I know you ain't gonna, agree with me here, but man, I think Shane had like the best entrance of the night, bruh. That big ass photo of him.
Oh yeah, you noticed he was wearing black for once.
Yeah, he was, man. He was wearing black and everything, man. But dude, I loved his entrance, man. His entrance was pretty amazing, and I I don't know. I know most people like the whole Brock uh slay the beast thing, but I just kind of thought that like we already knew that was coming. It wasn't anything original.
Sheesh, not based on my picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
like that they came out with Brock first, straight out the gate, explained it, and yeah, I love the Seth and Brock match was all right. DB Kofi was the match of the night. Um, I don't know. I actually like the women's tag team match with the Iconics getting the W.
dude, I agree, man. I thought that was a really solid match as well, and hats off to the Iconics for pulling off. I think that they should have been the number one to do it, but I think that from an accolade perspective, the WWE just wanted to go with the Horsewomen to just kind of tell a story at the end of their career. But I sincerely believe that those belts belong to Iconic, and God, they deserve it. I mean, that's all I can really say, man, is that they really do deserve it. I'm excited for their future.
Speaking of futures and somebody in that match, let's talk about Sasha Banks.
Oh man.
You said last week, was it last week that you said something seems off?
Yeah, I called it, man. Like I was it Thursday or was it Sunday that I said that? I can't remember. Do
I
you
think it
remember?
was Thursday. I think you said it on the podcast last week.
Okay. I think I did say on the podcast
Yes,
last
because we were
week.
talking about her. I don't think her match was on the Hulu cut, but she, tripped
Yeah,
up on a
the
couple
botched a
spots in the ring.
couple of moves. Yeah, man, that's what it was, man. So like I know that she gets a lot of flack for botching, and botches just, I mean, it just happens. But for me, when I judge a botch, I judge it by the passion that they have. And it just seems like the lights are like completely gone from Sasha. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why, man. And not just since we're on the topic, on Monday, I had texted you after watching the Bailey and Alexa match come through, and just that the chemistry in there just seemed completely off too. Like I was like, what the hell is going on? Like Bailey was like flustered. Like you could tell she was completely flustered in that match. It was beyond botching that she did. She just seemed like she didn't even care about that match at all. Alexa kind of gave that same thing as well. And I just I don't know, man. And then Wendy Williams came out and said, "Hey, Yo, Sasha was scheduled for today, but she's going through some stuff. So she's not going to be able to make it. And uh, she's, I don't follow Sasha. None of our accounts follow her, but I decided to go onto her account today just to kind of see, because it's just been kind of dormant and people are starting to talk already. And a couple of days ago, she posted this. I'm going to go ahead and just read it in its entirety because I don't know if you read it or not, but just for our followers. But she says, and I quote, "There's something about the way life happens today that makes it hard to look ahead. There are things that make it difficult to laugh, difficult to live the way that you want. There are things that make it almost impossible to trust where you are or believe in where you want to be. You look around and life is happening way too fast. Sometimes it feels like the moments are gone. Everything happens all at once and right away. We're marching towards a destiny that we cannot understand, towards the kingdom of convenient. Then one day you look up and you can't find the meaning. Your crisis of purpose and passion is acting up, but they tell you that's supposed to be normal. Well, I don't want normal. I want magic because that's the place that feels like home to me. That's the place where I remember what dreams look like, where meaning is effortless and purpose is simple. That's the place where love still matters. I want that feeling of coming home again. I want that. I want to feel like myself. I want that magic." So from that, I can kind of piece together the puzzle here, and it just sounds like Sasha's at the point where she's just had enough. I think, and we've said this, and I apologize for filibustering here, man, but I've said this for a couple of months, and I believe that you've chimed in as well on this thing. But Sasha is not shining as a tag team. She doesn't shine as a baby face, and yet they continue to put her in a spot where she is not able to succeed. And success doesn't mean about title reigns and things like that, but you have to remember, as a professional wrestler, your brand is your image and your image is your brand. And if you feel like you can't be the best of the time that you have, then at some point you're going to be disgruntled. And if you're beholden to a contract that doesn't allow you to do what it is that you want, it's a recipe for disaster. Um, I don't know. I hope she's okay. I hope she's not having a meltdown, but something is seriously wrong. And I don't want it to get to a point where someone gets hurt or injured or something happens as a result of it. And that's just kind of my thought process of the whole thing.
I think she just, if I had to take a guess, obviously I hope the best for her. We've all been through some tough times and it sucks. But I wonder if she's just starting to hit burnout. You know, when you go like, because she gives it 150% in all her matches. If you go 150% for so long, life comes knocking at you at some point. Comes knocking at the door and says, "Hey, hold up. Your mind, your body, whatever it is, just can't take it." And then when you're a wrestler, and then you have people like us talking about you, and then you have social media, and boy, man, you want to find some negativity, just check your Twitter feed at any given time.
Yeah. Google Sasha Banks and read the comments. They're usually not pretty, unfortunately, and that's a travesty.
They're rough. Yeah. Sasha, if you're listening to this and you're mad because you get negative comments, just be happy that your name isn't Donald Trump.
or Julian Assange.
Yeah. Or Jussie Smollett or R. Kelly.
Yeah, we got nothing but love for Sasha here at It's Real Wrestling Podcast. We don't spread that negativity. She's always got a mic here if she ever wants to talk. But yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm in the same boat, man. I feel like all I want is just for the best for her and her career. And if it's burnout, I get that too. God knows that Goose and I go through it every other day. But sometimes you need that mental health break, and you shouldn't be ashamed of that either. So,
yeah. Matter of fact, Sage, why don't you tell them? This is inspirational that you do this, and especially since I've had kids, I've learned this. Why don't you tell the fans, the jobbers, what you do every year for yourself?
You talking about the
Sage sabbatical.
the sabbatical? Yeah. Um, yeah. So like I would say Goose and I have a pretty stressful job. Um, and you know, we've been doing it for 10 plus years, Goose, somewhere
Yep.
around there. And yeah, our job is really demanding, and I recognized that early on in my career. And so I decided that every year I would take a total of 2.5 to 3 weeks off, just to detach myself from the rest of the world, mainly from work purposes, but you know, just use that time to be me time, to do something, to learn something new, to you know, be more you know, with it, with the family and everything like that. It's basically essential. It's a fact finding mission for myself to discover, rediscover who I am and what I value. And I recommend, you know, if you guys have the time, I know that most people don't have like 3 weeks stashed away where they can do that comfortably without saving some reserves. But you know, I'd recommend taking a week or even 3 days to extend your holiday, or extend your weekend, and just detach yourself from the rest of the world and go hiking or running or run a marathon, or
How many
you know,
movies do
do
you see during this
something.
time, Sage?
Dude, I see a movie a day, nearly a movie a day for 3 weeks, bro. Um, and I'd pack it to the dollar theater, and I go right when I drop the girls off from. I probably shouldn't have said that. When I drop the kiddos off for school, and then before the bell rings to pick them up, I'm done. So I get maybe 2 movies in,
Yep.
and yeah, man, it's fun. I love watching movies, man. That's my claim to fame. Although I am a little upset with Disney, and we'll talk about that probably towards the end.
Well, I want to get to something in a minute about
Yeah,
specifically about Disney. And matter of fact, I'd love to get into it now because I want to. It's something specific. But case in point, it's okay to take some time for yourself.
yeah.
Perfectly fine. Can you still hear me? Is my mic acting up?
You good, bro? You good?
All right. I didn't know if the mic cut out for a sec.
We'll ask Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Let's see. Wow, I'm not getting any feedback on this. This is amazing. So I want to talk to you about something.
Yep.
Lion King trailer was released 2 days ago.
You already knew where I was going, bro. Like it's like we got this, son. We got that magic. Let's go.
Yeah. So
You know I'm upset.
So talk to me about that.
Well, Goose, tell the people why I'm mad. Because I know you and I haven't formally talked about this, but why do you think that I'm mad about that Disney trailer?
Does it have to do with Scar?
It's got 100% to do with Scar, bruh.
Because Scar doesn't look like Scar. He doesn't have the black mane. None of it.
No, not at all. The only thing they got right was his weight, and that was about it. And maybe his voice, but his weight and his voice. It does not look like Scar at all, man. And bruh, I know I'm not the only one who's upset about that. And I know that they're doing like the music, like this is what frame for frame, right?
Yeah,
So
just about. There might be some
all
little
the
tweaks here and
musicals
there.
are in there and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, I do. And I just, when I see on the screen Scar, do be prepared, I'm gonna be like, is this old Simba, or is this Scar? Because I can't really tell the difference. I mean, oh my god, the original Scar was based off of a black maned Scar. I mean, a black maned lion. Why couldn't they do the same thing? I don't get it, Goose. I don't get it. You had one job, and you messed up royally. And don't give me this crap about women or lionesses prefer dark haired because they have more testosterone and it would have overshadowed Simba and Mufasa. That's total BS. I'm pretty sure if you went to Africa and you saw a lion that with black mane, you'd find a couple of them that are skinny as well too. So you could have just done the same exact thing. Don't mess up it. I was in 6th grade when that movie came out. One of my kids is about to hit the 6th grade when this movie comes out, and I gotta explain to her that that's not really what Scar looks like. Should never happen. I'm out.
I loved it. I love the way Scar looks. But let me tell you why. And Lion King is my GOAT. It's the GOAT Disney movie to me. But the reason I liked it was because I wanted to see something anywhere of like a subtle, okay, let's just tweak this or change this a little bit. Because it's already going to be almost word for word remake. And I'm cool with that, but I want something. Just give me something small that's different.
That's not small, Goose. That is not small.
Okay, so tell me this.
Small would be, hey, we're Nala's not gonna try to attack Simba.
Yeah, see, I like stuff like that. But let me tell you this then. Is Mufasa a black, what would you call it, a black mane lion?
No, he's a full red-headed lion.
So how the hell can he have a brother that's a black mane lion?
Look.
How can a black mane lion be Simba's uncle?
Because, dude, lions don't act like human beings, bro. They got more than one mate. You think that's the one thing you probably didn't miss. Niobe, that was Mufasa's main bitch. All right. But if you look in the back, there was other bitches there too. But there were no other no other lions there. Mufasa was the only Mufasa was the only male lion besides Simba in the original cartoons. Most people don't even notice that.
So you're saying this goes deep, that Scar and Mufasa are half brothers,
bruh. That's what I'm saying. They're half brothers. He was next in line for the throne. But unfortunately, it didn't go in the cards, and we get that. We understand that. I mean, that's the way it goes sometimes, man. But I mean, that you can't mess with something that's iconic. Scar is an iconic character in the Lion King story. His son, who's actually also a black-haired mane lion. Like, what? He's not gonna. When we get part 2, he's not gonna have black. He's not gonna have black hair. You guys gonna give him black hair? And then we're gonna ask how that happened. How did that happen?
So, okay, you mentioned Scar's weight. Did you at least like that he actually had a ton of scars and he looked like? Because I mean, the dude's just surviving like hyenas, like off of scraps.
Bruh, all they did was take Mowgli's lion and implanted him in the Lion King. That's all they did, bruh.
Mowgli had a tiger, didn't he?
Yeah, they had a tiger, a Bengal tiger, but basically all they did was just take that character model and put him into a lion, and that's how they got Scar. And I'm not like that. I don't want Shere Khan on the Lion King. If I wanted Shere Khan on the Lion King, I would go see Mowgli or go see the Jungle Book. I wouldn't want to see the Lion King for that, man. I'm heated, bruh. I'm heated.
So let me ask you this. This is one of my questions of the week. Who is the greatest Disney heel of all time? And we're not counting Marvel, none of that.
Disney heel of all time.
Star Wars doesn't count. I'm talking straight real Disney.
Real Disney, man. So Scar's always been my number 1. And we're not talking about Star Wars, right? You said no Star Wars.
No
right?
Star Wars,
okay.
no Marvel. We're talking
just traditional, straight up Disney, old school Disney.
Right.
Yeah, man. I don't think anyone was more devious than Scar.
Scar's the only one who killed somebody, right?
Is no, what's her name? Killed someone. Maleficent killed someone. I mean, her traditional story, but she was actually an adaptation into Disney, not the original thing. But yeah, I mean, Scar's the only G who actually got his hands dirty. Everybody else, everybody else uses henchmen. Not my man. Not my man Scar. That's a true heel right there, man. True heel.
Yeah, Scar's got to be up there. It's one of the big heels. I was gonna say Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, because dude was just a jerk.
Nah,
He was one of those heels that has the look, and yeah, I was gonna say Gaston, but yeah, we got to go with Scar.
yeah, Scar #1, man. Y'all
Heel
got
of the century.
Disney. You guys got time. Y'all go fix that. Put some CGI on that.
Well, let's get into. You could talk about Raw if you want.
You mad, son, or what?
That was just awful.
The first part wasn't so bad, I don't think. Like the opening segment, I thought was pretty cool. The title for title thing kind of got me thinking, man, because obviously it was a pop test, man. And you've been saying it for probably 2 years now that they're going to come to a point in the near future where they're going to combine their rosters, and I think that this was kind of their pop test to do it. And I gotta say, bravo Brooklyn, man, because they crapped all over that concept all night for them to combine that, man. And I would have to agree, man. If we're splitting up, like I'm a fan of consolidating some divisions, but not the main title on two separate brands. I think that's just a way horrible idea to do. Especially since we've gotten, like, how crappy would it be that Kofi wins and then they retired the belt, the WWE belt,
right, to a Raw guy,
and then we don't see the WWE belt ever again. And I think that that's the direction that they're going in. They're wanting to make the WWE Universal belt as the main belt going forward and stop the lineage of the WWE heavyweight belt. I think that's just a mistake, man. I just think it's a mistake, man.
Now that I remind myself that the Fox deal is kicking in, I think in October or later this year, I do think they're going to keep everything separate, just for the money's sake, and each independent network station's going to kind of want to get their own piece of the pie and all that good stuff, and keep the interest. But yeah, I think, like you said, man, they did the pop test. And just Raw was, like you mentioned, the Alexa Bliss kind of return / her match. Just something seemed off. I was kind of thinking, like, I want to see the post WrestleMania call up. We didn't get it. I don't care what you say about Lars Sullivan showing up.
At all.
And Kurt Angle comes out. When I thought last week they were saying this is the final Raw he'll ever be on. So apparently that doesn't happen. And then he put over Corbin the night before. Hey, props to the guy. He's giving back to the business. I'm not as mad or salty about it as a lot of other people. And Lars Sullivan beats him up. And then now, I assume, we're never going to see Kurt Angle again on TV. People hated that. But hey, you know what? He's giving back. He's taken, a lot, and he's given a bunch to the business and all that. He's just giving back. But we'll get Lars Sullivan. And then what really did it in for me at the end of Raw was I watched that Kofi Seth match thinking, damn, WWE is taking advantage of this Monday after Mania.
Yeah.
And once the bar came out, I was like, the bar has nothing to do with either of those guys at all. Literally, the bar has zero to do with any of those guys. And I just checked out.
I think that I get it, man. I don't like the fact that the bar was the one who interrupted. Like, I would have been in favor of the foil because I knew it was coming. But I thought that, man, it would have made more sense if Drew McIntyre came out and just kind of ran roughshod on both of them. But he wasn't even there that night at all. And now we can kind of understand why. So I think this whole thing was written to be more like the entire story of Monday Night Raw and even SmackDown as well had really nothing to do with the titles on the brands, for the exception of the SmackDown tag team belts. I think the overall story was just to kind of be like, hey, guess what? You could see this guy here permanently, but you won't know until you come next week and watch the shakedown or the shakeup or whatever it is. So I think that that's what it was, man. I think it was poorly done, but I think that that was basically the message of both shows is like, hey, we're not going to be doing any type of serious storytelling today because the biggest storytelling is the shakedown, and tune in next week to find out who's going where. And
Yeah. And I normally get pumped for the Raw after Mania because I thought today, I was like, I wonder if I was just burnt out on wrestling because between the NXT Hall of Fame and WrestleMania, you're talking 12 plus hours of wrestling back to back to back.
Yep.
So I thought maybe I'm burned out, but then it's the Raw after Mania. So you know what? It hit me. It hit. Who created Raw after Mania? The fans.
Yeah.
Sure, WWE puts on the show, but the fans created it with the crazy vulgar chants, the intensity of the crowd, how intense you have to be that night. And then WWE's kind of ruining it. Like once, I think it was last year maybe, where they really embraced, and now they're tweeting out, tune in to the craziest Monday Night Raw of the year, hashtag Raw After Mania. Like they're embracing it now.
It's become
kind
a
of just like,
spectacle.
right. And they kind of own it now and take control over it. So it just feels less organic, and I don't know. It's just not, it's like they're playing into it. And like, think about it. The beginning and end of Raw do not matter at all. Like you just said, it was just a tune in next week. The beginning segment with Kofi and Seth and the ending of the show could have been cut from, they weren't obviously, but they could have been cut from Hulu and it would make no difference to anything. And not having any NXT call-ups, hopefully it happens next weekend or next week. But yeah, this one was just a bad one. Did they have Baron Corbin? Did you watch the Hulu cut?
I did watch the Hulu cut.
Did they show Baron Corbin's segment where Kurt Angle came out?
Yeah, and Lars Sullivan came out afterwards.
Did they edit out the chants towards Baron Corbin?
No, there was chants. It was at the the AEW chants were at the end of the night. So it was "You Suck," CM Punk. I want to say "Asshole" was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was all that I heard.
Oh yeah, they edited it out. They started a pretty loud STFU chant, a pretty loud one. A really good one.
I think that was at the beginning. I think I did hear that as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, little was cut from that, to be honest with you. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that on SmackDown when you watch the Hulu cut, you only miss 30 minutes, which could be a lot of 30 minutes of fluff for the most part, right?
No, it's actually the whole show. They just cut out the commercials.
Holy crap.
That's the only difference between the SmackDowns on both shows. Like Raw, they cut out like literally an hour and a half.
But how many of that is commercials, would you say?
You're probably right. So they probably cut out about an hour of total in-ring and backstage stuff or TV time, and then the rest of it's commercials. But on SmackDown, it's literally just they remove the commercials and that's it. You see everything else. And it's still good. Figure that.
Yeah, no kidding. So you mentioned earlier Lacey Evans showed up. What do you think? You don't think she's going to get an immediate title shot, do you?
Oh, she is, man. I was thinking, man, and I do want to visit the ending of the main event at WrestleMania too, so maybe we could do it in this discussion. But Lacey Evans has never been on pay-per-view.
What do you mean? Like the come out thing?
She's never had a pay-per-view match on NXT at all.
Oh, wow. They must be digging this chick.
Yeah, I mean, even Elias had he had one pay-per-view match before he got called up to the main roster. She had none. They bootstrapped her straight through, man. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I like the fact that she came in and she sucker punched Becky. Um, I'm excited for Lacey Evans. I know that's gonna come to a shock to a lot of people, but I'm really excited about her. Like, she's the real deal, man. Like, she can really scrap. Like, if you know her credentials, like, she can.
Oh, I've seen her in the Mae Young Classic. She was in the first one, right?
Yeah, she's in the first one, but you could tell just like, yo, she can go, bruh. And she didn't fall not one time in those heels when she was getting them on the ramp, bruh.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
she was skating around like Bambi, but she was still holding her own, and I thought that was pretty good, man. Um, but yeah, man, she's gonna be a terror, man. She's not a diva. I think that a lot of
good.
people just kind of see her and they're like, man, she's a diva, but nah, man, she kick your ass in the bar, bro. that's no joke, man. She kick your ass in the bar, bro.
Yeah, she's got the look. The ending of WrestleMania, though, I didn't dig it. You thinking it was a botch?
I,
Just a mistake?
I don't know, man, because I heard that Ronda messed up her hand. For I guess she got kicked or something like that, and her hand busted. But you can really tell during the match at all. But the ending seemed like they definitely that wasn't the ending. Like, that wasn't the way that it was supposed to go down. Um, I've got a theory, and this is just me, and this might just be the mark in me saying this, but I think Charlotte was meant to take the pen. I don't think it was Becky that was meant
Oh,
to
I
take the
agree.
pen. I think it was Charlotte that was, and for whatever reason, they backed Charlotte off and told her, because once she went out of the ring, she was gone for like a good 5 minutes, and it was just
Yeah.
Becky and Ronda going at it. So I figured that, like, they said, Charlotte, yo, you did your work. Let's finish the match. They got in the ring. They finished the match, and Becky did a backslide for the 1, 2, 3 that didn't look like it was supposed to. So I don't know, man. Maybe they ran out of time. They were getting close to that 11:30 mark, and they were like, "Yo, we got to end it really quick." Or maybe it was a screw job, man. Maybe Vince was a little upset for the way things have been going the last couple of weeks, and because Ronda looked visibly flustered. That's the one thing I got to say about Ronda. She doesn't really. She holds her emotions on her sleeve. She's not the best from a kayfabe perspective. No knock on her or anything like that, but just the kind of the way that she is, man. And she just did not seem like if she felt like her ambiance on the screen felt like she legitimately got screwed.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell what happened. Truth be told, once it happened, I was like, "Oh man, that's great. I, I got to go to bed." So,
I was like this, man. I was like sitting there. I was like, oh shit, this thing's over, man.
it just
Yeah.
ended out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just ended out of nowhere, man.
I
That's the way
think
it goes.
maybe they wanted some controversy. Um, I wouldn't end WrestleMania with controversy, but of all shows. But you know, I don't know. I don't know. What else? I see in the show in our show notes. You got something about the next. I just closed them down. The next pay per view coming up. If you think the New Day will get
man.
strapped,
So a couple of weeks ago, I think actually it might have been the week before WrestleMania. They actually advertised the pay per view was going to be Backlash, and which was, that it's usually 1 or 2 pay per views, and then it's Money in the Bank. For some reason,
that's right.
for some reason, and they even had the graphics and everything, but for some reason, Money in the Bank is the next pay per view.
Why do you think they scrapped it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what's in between now and June, but something changed. I'm not one. I don't want to speculate, but it could be something to do with AEW's pay-per-view in May, the Double or Nothing, and they kind of want to cut into those. Maybe they're a little scared, a little worried, or maybe they don't really have long-term plans for the Money in the Bank winner, which leads me to believe that I think Kofi's probably going to get cashed in pretty quickly here.
Yeah. Early predictions. You got Lacey Evans winning the women's World Money in the Bank.
No, I don't. I think putting her in the Money Bank would be kind of a travesty. I think that Becky needs something for the pay-per-view while the women do their own Money in the Bank thing. But it's gonna be weird because, like, you literally need to start having your qualifier matches next week.
Right. Maybe they're not doing anything in May or something because of maybe they're doing like a Saudi Arabia show or something.
You know, that might be it, man. It might be the Saudi Arabia show coming up.
The greatest,
you know what?
greatest Royal Rumble.
And we were talking about earlier about what they could do for WrestleMania to cut things out. Like, if they're going to have these Saudi Arabia shows, like literally April or May, maybe we shouldn't have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Unpopular opinion, but I mean, essentially, it's 3 Royal Rumbles in 6 months that we're having.
Yeah, so and only one of them means something.
Out? Yeah, and only one of them actually means something. So why not cut one of them out? Yeah, so that's maybe there goes your cut there, man. But yeah, man, I don't know, man.
Yeah. What else this week? Anything else to cover before we wrap up?
Just, you know, since we're on the topic of the shakedown, who do you think? Maybe 5 people. Who do you think are gonna switch brands, and who's gonna get called up?
No one's gonna get called up after this week. Is my first thing. I'll pick 5 people. I think the tag champs are going to switch brands and like just swap for swap. Hardys go to Raw. Is one. I think. Did the Bar? They just went to SmackDown last year, right? Or was it 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago.
They were in Raw last year.
You sure?
They were in SmackDown last year, and then they went to Raw. Yeah. And then they went back to SmackDown.
I do think this might be the year AJ Styles finally goes over to Raw. Even though I read today he's injured, but he should be back. It's nothing major. So I think the tag titles, I don't see any major changes with the women, to be honest with you, because they've already swapped a bunch of them, like one year to the next. I mean, hey, maybe to make, cheer up Sasha, they send her to SmackDown where she gets to be around just a different environment.
They need to separate her and Alexa. Yeah, Lexa is definitely going to be WWE's cash cow, so might as well separate her completely from Sasha. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I think those are the main people. I don't think. Like, I wondered about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and I think they're going to stay put, just do their thing. Plus, Kevin Owens was hurt for a while and, didn't have a huge SmackDown run.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it, really. I can't really say much. Wait, now that Lars Sullivan is on Raw and Roman Reigns is back, I wonder if that means Braun will go to SmackDown.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, so I agree with you, man. I think that Lars is going to SmackDown. Braun's going to go to... I'm sorry. Lars is going to Raw. Braun's going to go to SmackDown. I think AJ is going to Raw. And we're going to get Finn Balor going to SmackDown. I think that Sasha will go to SmackDown. Charlotte and Asuka will go to Raw. And I think the Sky Pirates from NXT are going to get called up and be the tag team to go against the Iconics next week.
So didn't Asuka and Charlotte just switched to SmackDown last year?
Asuka was always SmackDown. She got called up to SmackDown. Charlotte was the one who came from Raw to SmackDown. But Asuka got called up from NXT to SmackDown.
I thought she got called up to Raw.
She was doing double duty on both brands for a while, but she officially went to SmackDown.
Okay.
And yeah, I told you Sky Pirates. You know who the Sky Pirates are, right?
Not at all.
Okay. Kairi Sane and Io Shirai.
Oh, sweet.
They're gonna get called up. And I think that this is gonna sound crazy, but Tampa Bay is where they're going next year for WrestleMania. It would make sense to have the Sky Pirate be in a place where there's pirates. Show. Yeah, on a pirate show. I think it's just gimmick for gimmick. So I think it's just kind of, I think that's what's going to happen. On the tag team front, I think that the reason the Usos lost the belt was so that Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy can drop the belts to, I don't know what their faction is called, but Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. I think they're going to unify the tag team division and fix it. So I think that's the reason why they lost the belts.
Yeah, Usos could make their way to Raw.
They could, but honestly, I don't think it'll matter. I don't think the men's tag team is going to matter too much. I think that those are going to float between. They're going to follow the belts. And my hunch is that they're going to unify the tag team belts, which that makes complete sense to me to unify those belts, but not any of the mid card or main belts.
Right.
But those are my picks, man.
Yeah, we got a good show. Had a good show this week.
Yeah.
Next week will probably be a little bit of a busier show because we're going to be giving you the commentary on the Superstar Draft. And it's funny because I was just thinking about taking a week off from wrestling because of wrestling burnout this past week. But damn you, wrestling, you keep me entertained. I've been watching you too long for me to say I'm burnt out. I'm going to stop watching it.
Yeah.
Been watching this way too long. I tell you, I'm not going to watch it. And yeah, gets me every week. Anyways, I'm your boy Ben Goosen. It's a Sage. Tell them where they could reach us. We've been getting spam calls, strangely enough.
I know, way up there, man. When you put your credentials on the internet, internet's
True.
Forever, bro. Internet's True. Forever. Anyhow, y'all can reach us at It's Real Wrestling Podcast on Instagram. You got that IG, or on Twitter, Real WrestleCast on Twitter. We always have the website. Website is IRWP.us. But hit us on that YouTube. If you guys don't have us on that YouTube, you need to get it here Thursday nights live, like Silky Mel Johnson did earlier. Just search for us. It's Real Wrestling Podcast, and we'll actually come up. 419-777-IRWP. And last but not least, we had a WrestleMania giveaway, and congratulations to Jim Hayes. We got a shirt coming your way, bro.
That's good man, Jim Hayes. At Real WrestleCast, real easy to find. Hit us up. It's your boys, Sage Mark Ben Goosen. We out. Hey, everybody, the thoughts and opinions expressed are of the host and not of the IRWP. Hit us up, like Sage Mark said, at Real WrestleCast. Real easy to find. Just type in It's Real Wrestling Podcast these days. We're doing our grind. We are that big these days. You can type it in on Twitter, IG, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, you name it, Player FM, you name it. It's easy to find. I think we actually even come up in the top 5 because we're just that amazing. In Google as well, without any SEO paid services, sucker. Again, enjoy your week. Superstar Shakeups coming back next week. We're out.